Good morning, students. Welcome to American History 2A. I do apologize for not being present. I'm actually in my office right now as we speak, as you're listening to this, and will not be able to join you regularly for the next couple of days. And that is because I'm in the middle of doing an accreditation review for the charter school um, in Gooding. And so every high school has to be accredited by an outside organization, and we're no different here at Waccapah. And this week I'll be one of the members of the accreditation review team for that school. In January I'll actually be doing the review for the alternative school in Rupert. And then in April we actually have our own review that we will have a team possibly coming on site. If not on site, they'll do it remotely like I'm doing, and review our program. So again, apologize for not being there the first week of the quarter. So let's go ahead and get started with this class. First of all, as you know, Miss Raymond is in charge right now. She's subbing for me. Please give her all the respect that she deserves, and follow her directives. Even if it's a little different than what I would do, it's her class right now. So follow her directives, and everything will be just fine. She should have already gone through the syllabus with you, and so and therefore you should already have at least be available to add U.S. History 2A to your Google Classroom. Now, I've already invited you all via email to the class, so if you've not already done so, you need to accept that, and because you're going to spend the next 3 days in Google Classroom. Now, I know many of you don't like the online learning environment. I don't blame you, and it's certainly not the way I would want to do this class, but for now, that's the way it's set up until I can get back to class. Plus, it works great when you're absent, so we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So when you click in, I don't know if yours look like mine or not, but I've obviously got a few extra up here that you don't have. But if you click on History 2A, when you open up, of course, you know those of you who have used Google Classroom, you know you have your announcements. It's probably the first page you open up on. But up here at the coursework, I'm assuming you have it probably looks a little different for you, but classwork is where you're going to click on. The class syllabus, should you ever need to come back to it, refer to it, it's the first folder we have here. And you also have the topics right here, but syllabus is the first one. And this is what you've already covered. And a couple things I want to point out to you, besides really understanding the class culture. There's the Google Class Code, by the way, if you needed it. I want to bring down here to the grading. So how are you going to get graded? It's one of the questions students ask all the time. Well, 40% is going to come, 40% of your total grades coming from the test, from unit test. 20% is coming from quizzes. 20% is class discussion. Now, that's a big chunk of your grade right there. So the only way you're going to be able to have a good conversation, a good discussion with your peers and with me about the topic is that you have to be paying attention. You have to know what's going on within the realm of what we're discussing. So, and that's going to be completely up to you. But 20% of a grade is a big chunk that I would not underestimate how much that will affect your grade. We also have 15% coming from the final comprehensive exam. I'm not one that's a real fan of comprehensive exams. I've taken plenty of them, and you know it's a mixed bag. But this is really designed to get you ready for the citizenship exam that you're going to have to take as part of your high school graduation. And then lastly, 5% syllabus. So I'll take you to the very last page. This page here needs to be filled out, signed by your parent and you. If you're 18 or over, you don't need your parent to sign. You just mark right here, right here, yes, you are 18. Then I know we're not looking for a parent signature. But we're going to be using some media in class, and so I want your parents to give you permission to see it. We may not watch it all in its entirety. We may, like John Adams, we're not going to watch all of John Adams. We're going to watch a part of it. And so before we do, especially the one, well, we're not going to see the last of Mohegans. Excuse me. Yeah. We're going to be changing that out with The War That Made America. But I do believe in full transparency with your parents and let them know exactly what we're going to be seeing in the class. If they have any concerns, please have them reach out to me. My email and phone number is in the syllabus here. Alright, so you are responsible for knowing what's in the syllabus, and this is how we'll be operating in the class. So once, and this is more FYI, you have a hard copy of the syllabus. Bring back that back page. Alright, so pre-Columbian period and Columbian exchange. These are the two topics that we're going to first study in American history. And so in this folder, you start, and everything's in order for you. Start with taking the pre-Columbian and Columbian exchange test. Now, this is the same test you're going to take for your unit test. No surprises on my test. You know exactly what you need to know. I want to measure what you don't know right now. Okay? So if you don't know any of it, fine. It's not being graded. It's just going to give us a place where we know where you were. What I want to do when we do finally take the exam down here, I want to know how much you have learned. Growth. I'm looking for growth. So plus, you should be interested. You should know how much you actually learned over this unit. So take this. We're going to set that aside. And then after you're finished with this pre-test, jump over here to this folder called Introduction and Beginnings. So this here gives you a little rundown of what this area, what this subtopic is going to cover. And I have these videos almost in order. So start with this video. Dr. Larry Arnn is going to talk about the importance of studying history. It's only 26 minutes long. Go ahead and watch it. And then move over to either the Age of Discovery and the Columbian Exchange or the pre-Columbian period. So I've given two different lectures and recorded them both. I think you could probably skip this one and just go right to this one, the pre-Columbian period, parts 1 and 2, which 1 and 2, so hour and 25 minutes. And then the Columbian Exchange is the last section. Okay, so if you are present, that's all you're going to have to do. If you are not here and you're absent for the day, you're going to do some extra. Here's the study guide for this reading material. You're going to read the introduction. You're going to read this chapter on beginnings. There's the study guide that goes with it, and then you're going to watch this video. In addition to all of this, clearly you want to be at school. But if you're not, you're going to be doing all of this, and there's questions in the study guide you're going to send in as part of your assignment. So this is the first section. Once you're done with that, then you're going to take the quiz on the pre-Columbian period. And finally, take the exam. Now right now you can't see it, it's draft. So you can't see it yet, but it will be there probably by Tuesday, because you're not going to get to it Monday. But perhaps Tuesday, certainly by Wednesday, you need to be through this folder and have tested. Okay, then we're going to move on. By this point, I'm going to be back in class, and we will pick up the colonial background. But this is how the class is structured. Colonial background is the next unit. New nation, next unit, the experiment begins. I actually may end up combining these two folders into one unit. Then we move into the culture of democracy and its shadow. This leads us to political divisions. That leads us finally to the Civil War. And then post-Civil War period is what we call Reconstruction. And down here I have some miscellaneous history that I personally find interesting. For example, did you know that the 10th president, President Tyler, still has grandkids alive today? Yeah, you'll see the video if you click on this. In fact, yeah, it's all three of these videos. And think about this. Tyler was born in 1790. So how in the, now you would think you'd have a great-great-great-great-grandchild, but not a great-grandchild. But he does. And in one of these videos, his grandson is here. His son just died back in the 60s. So it's an interesting story there. And then here we are. Here I have a video of an ex-slave who talks about slavery. Of course, this was done probably in the 20s. It's an older, much older video, but you know, we don't know anybody who experienced that. And here we have somebody talking who actually lived as a slave during the 1800s, and he talks about his experience. So if you ever get a chance, or if you have some extra time, these are some interesting tidbits. But nonetheless, this is where I want you to start, right here at the pre-Columbian period and the Columbian Exchange. And by Wednesday, you should have this finished, and if not already taken the exam, Thursday be ready to take the exam. So again, not the way I would normally want to do this class, but it is what it is. And I apologize for not being there, but we'll be there soon enough, and we'll go from there. If you have any questions, you can always email me. I will be in my office. We'll have email, so feel free to do that. But it's a new quarter. It's a new start, and it's a new class, so let's see where it takes us. And we'll go from there. Talk to you guys soon.